Hey, what's up guys on YouTube? I'm Brian for the Unbound channel and we're going to go see the Black Panther. It's going to be epic. I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright Edwin, so let's give our quickie review.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? Mine is 10 out of 10. He said it like he said before the camera was rolling. The graphics were amazing! Hey everybody, this is the final part of my movie review. You got to see me and Edwin's quickie review. Edwin said 8, I said 10, but I want to talk about some really cool elements of the story of this movie, and one of this cool, and it's not story relevant, so this isn't a spoiler, and I'm not going to give you the context, so you'll still have to watch the movie to get what I'm talking about, but there's a mention about how when things happen, some countries build, or try to build bridges, and others try to build barriers. It was a very interesting statement about how different countries handle different problems, or handle the same problem, where they try to build a bridge so that maybe they can reconcile, or how and other ones will build a barrier to say no, you can't be over here, which I thought was a very interesting comparison there in the movie. It's very subtle, so you'll have to like listen for it, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you hear it. The other thing that I like about this movie, the Black Panther is such an interesting character because we don't often see superheroes that are also royalty that accept that role. Like for example, Aquaman is very much like the opposite of T'Challa, whereas Aquaman was this very reluctant king. He would rather just be the superhero and a fisherman than be a superhero and a king. Whereas T'Challa is the complete opposite. He completely accepts his role as a leader of a country, which I thought that was a very interesting aspect. I didn't know if they were going to go there or not, but basing off of the Black Panther comics, I believe actually by the time we meet T'Challa in the comic books, he was already king. So in this line of movies, he wasn't the king. He was just the Black Panther, and then and he gets his royalty and all that stuff. But that's really not that story relevant. The story relevant stuff I really can't discuss with you guys here, but Kilgrave also has the best lines. So you really need to see this movie. Kilgrave, one of the villains that was more known, I think is his name. I think it's Kilgrave or Killmonger or whatever. He's the guy who played Smeagol. Basically, that actor who played Smeagol. He plays the original villain. What was his name? Not Kilgrave. The Claw. No, the Claw guy or Kang or what? I can't remember his name. I can't remember the villain's name for the life of me. That's how unforgettable he is. That's how forgettable he is. But he's the dude with the robot arm in the trailer. That guy has the funniest lines that I've ever heard a villain have. Like, he would talk and I would giggle. It's just... It was a great movie. I believe that, I enjoyed the Black Panther so much. There was so much action. The CGI was amazing. Like, I am not even kidding. I can tell that the people who worked on this movie put their heart and soul into every artistic piece of this movie. From the design of the costume, to the creation of the costumes, to the design of the world of Wakanda. They didn't just use stuff that was in the comics. I could definitely tell that these artists definitely put their own spin on something that pre-existed in the comic books, and I can definitely oh wow, just everything was amazing. I love the way the Wakandans are. I love that the king has he doesn't make decisions by himself. He has a group of advisors from the other tribes, so that make up the whole tribe of Wakanda as a whole. I love that. It's very much not what I expect when you think of a king. You think of a monarchy. You think of a guy who who has to think about everything on his own, or he appoints people to do a job. He's like, oh, I'm going to appoint you to do border security, and I don't want to hear about it. You do it. That's your job. I don't care. Instead, he has this council of people that he talks to, and then they say, hey, this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue, and then as he's informed on the issues, he makes a choice from there. And I like that aspect of him being a country as a leader. So even though there's a monarchy, and it's very not the kind of monarchy, it's almost an Arthurian type monarchy. It's like, you know, if you had to serve a king, you want to serve T'Challa, or you want to serve King Arthur, you know what I mean? Or you want to serve, you know, Namor, or you want to serve, you know, if you're going to serve under these fictional king, you want them to act like that. You know what I mean? Someone who actually thinks with the well-being of their people in mind. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very much the Black Panther is just an amazing character. I cannot stress how much I enjoyed this movie. And then like how the hand to hand is very interesting. Like I kind of wonder. Like I'm not gonna lie, if I ever get a chance to buy the DVD, I'm going to buy the DVD for this movie because I want to see the special features, because I want to know where they got the inspiration for all the combat moves. Like what martial arts did they base it on? Are they based on African style martial artists? I mean, I'm curious to know because I want to know what all went into making this movie, because there is such a I feel like and I'm just speculating because I don't really know a lot about African culture, but I feel like they probably put a lot of African culture into the background of this fictional country they created in the Marvel Universe. And I'm very curious to see, like, because, you know, where I live in my country, I'm not exposed to that. So I'm from Texas, by the way, in case you guys don't know. I've never been exposed to any kind of that culture. And I'm very curious to learn and understand about it. So it's very much going to be something I think I might look into, like just learning like the myths, the legends, and, you know, some of the history. Because, I mean, this is a part of the world that, you know, here in the States, they don't really teach us. So it's in the history books. Like, they talk about, like, the Greeks, the Japanese, and the Egyptians for, like, you know, for that, you know what I mean? Just for, like, a second. And then it's like, you know, back to the U.S., it's all about us. But there's a whole world out there that, you know, this movie has inspired me to kind of, like, want to learn a little more about. You know, I kind of want to understand, you know, how do other countries live? You know, like, I'm very curious now. It's this movie, even though I know it's based on a fictional world, I almost want to know what was the inspiration for it, you know, the inspiration behind it, and then learn about, like, the real world aspects of that, because I'm very curious. So if you guys like superhero movies, you will enjoy this movie. It's very much just a different take on a superhero movie. Rarely will you see a superhero movie where it is based on a superhero who is also the leader of a country. And that's not to say that, you know, we just don't have it. It's just that we don't often see that. Most of our superheroes that are, you know, leaders are like Superman or whatever, or Captain America, but they're just leading a team of superheroes. They're not really leading an entire country, so it's very much an interesting and evolved aspect. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I feel like T'Challa was definitely the kind of leader that if I had to serve under a leader, he's definitely the type of guy that I would definitely want to be on his side. And I love that he kind of evolves from his own history. So he takes the positive aspects of his country, and then he takes the negative aspects of the way his country and his people grew up, and he goes, yeah, I'm not going to make... He looks at his ancestors, and he says, I'm not making your mistakes. You guys can go over there, and, you know, like, I'm just going to put those mistakes over there, and I'm not going to repeat those. And I think he's going to, in the story, for story's sake, I think he will take Wakanda to... within that realm, he would take Wakanda to a very progressive way, I think. It's very interesting. I'm very curious to see where they go from the Black Panther mythos. I'm hoping they make more movies, because it's a great character. It's inspired me to look into cultures that I've never really experienced it myself, or had a chance to ask or read about before. So it's made me curious. And it's been a very thought-provoking movie, and I hope that you guys will take my review and take my advice and go see this movie. It is so worth it on every level. Great story, great acting, great special effects. As a movie, it's amazing. And the moral of the stories are the moral of the story is equally as amazing as all the effort and the background work that was put into this movie. Go see it, guys. Oh, real quick, guys, before I forget, this week's shouted out YouTuber of the week is my pal Jared, who aka Alpha Proto. I'll flash his thing real quick on the screen. And he does like a lot of various like artistic type videos, a lot of comic book related stuff, a lot of art related stuff. He does some voice work, just a variety of things. He also streams a little bit, so go subscribe to his channel. Go tell him I sent you there, and let him know that you're interested in what he has to bring to the table. Since we're talking about superheroes, I figured I'd shout out another one of my fellow nerds. Alright, I'm Brian from the Unbouncers channel, and I'm signing off. Peace, guys!